The thing most people aren't willing to do, myself included, is to change. Most people will say, Microsoft called, and you say, well, how much is the job? $400,000. Oh, everybody's excited. I say, well, how much are we going to make on that? Total silence. They don't care what the gross sale is. All they care is what the net sale is. How you talk to people and what you say about yourself, this is what demonstrates that you're a pro. I'm not really interested, and I don't work with people who simply want to make money, because making money, to be honest with you, is not that hard. What happens with entrepreneurs, particularly artists, is they come out of art school and they know a lot about art and they don't know much about business. And just through sheer talent and hard work and willpower, they build their business to a certain point. And I think that's what Chris and Jessie, his wife, who's his business partner, did. Then they get to a point where they realize that they don't know anything about business, and the very things that got them there, the willfulness, the determination, the working lots of hours, are now working against them. I'm not really interested, and I don't work with people who simply want to make money, because making money, to be honest with you, is not that hard. Making money and having a life and having it mean something, that part's pretty hard.
Well, for some people here in the audience, making money is hard too.
I mean, there's some reasons if you have the talent and you're willing to work. And the thing most people aren't willing to do, myself included, is to change. A lot of times people pay me very well, and for the first 6 months, every meeting is the same. I make a suggestion, they tell me why they can't do that. I'm sort of like your college professor. Like, I get paid whether you take my advice or not. I don't, it's really up to you. My job is to show up. So it usually takes people a while. If you're not willing to change, then nobody can help you. I'm going to show you this book. This guy won the Nobel Prize. He's actually a psychologist. And what he was interested in was, how can so many smart people on Wall Street make so many stupid decisions? Because they're the best of the best. And basically what they know in psychology, and I suggest all of you know as much about this as you can, is that most of us are always on what they call system one. We're making automatic decisions that we think are well thought out. And then there's a famous experiment where they say, true or false, Moses led the animals 2 by 2 onto the ark. An overwhelmingly number of people, I've sort of prompted you that it's a trick, will answer that that's true. Now, if you think about it, it's actually Noah, not Moses. People will always defer to the easiest way out. They don't want to really use their brains, the other part of their brain, because it takes an awful lot of energy. So change is enormously difficult.
Let's talk a little bit about then maybe that first conversation that you have with entrepreneurs who may call you up on the phone. What do you guys talk about?
Well, the first thing that there's some things that I need to know. If you hire me, I probably will end up knowing more about you than your therapist and your partner, because you have to tell the truth. If you can't tell the truth, I can't help you. I want to know what you know about your business. So the first thing I usually ask is, do you have a P&L? And a lot of people I've asked that have made millions of dollars actually don't know what I'm talking about. And a lot of these decisions that you're going to be making about your business are going to be grounded in some understanding of how your business operates financially. The other thing, particularly in motion graphics and the kind of businesses that I am most active in right now, is, do you actualize jobs? And what that means is, say you sold a $100,000 TV commercial, do you know how much you spent to make that commercial? Did you track your money so that you know what your profit is?
A lot of people make this mistake, and they think, like, how much money did you make? That's a general question. Right. How much money did you make? And they tell you what they gross. That's not even gross profit.
The difference between talking to artists and people like yourselves and talking to businessmen, they don't care what the gross sale is. All they care is what the net sale is. Most people will say, Microsoft called, and you say, well, how much is the job? $400,000. Oh, everybody's excited. I'll say, well, how much are we going to make on that? Total silence. Nobody really knows. If you don't know that, you don't know whether you can take the job. As Chris has learned, a lot of times you can take a $50,000 job and make far more money as a percentage than a $500,000 job. It's this idea that I'll take this job for no money because then the guy will come back and give me more money. That's never going to happen. It never happens. Underline that. It never happens. You can't go to a car dealer and say, well, look, you want $10,000 for that car, but but I'll pay you $5, and then on my next car I'll come back and I'll buy it from you. He's not going to listen to
So
you.
we've all probably heard something like that, probably taken one of those things, or more than one.
We've all done it.
Right?
I've done it.
The promise of work tomorrow for bills that need to be paid today, it's
No.
the bait that traps you. And sometimes we tell that lie to ourselves. We say like, this is a very promising thing, this is a relationship, when the client's never indicated anything close to that. Okay.
Well, the other thing is we don't listen very well. Okay, none of us are very good listeners. If you listen closely, the client's really telling you what kind of client they're going to be. Okay, so one of the things you need to decide is, how much pain and suffering is there going to be involved in this? If I get recommended to a client where there's something about it I want to do, but I know there's pain and suffering, I literally double the money. Every encounter with a client is information, but people are listening for what they want to hear. Clients who are evasive, who don't know, who will get back to you, like, it's legitimate to say, are you the decision maker? Because most of the people you work with, they're not the decision maker.
If you want to equip yourself with the right community, training, and resources to take your business to the next level, I want to personally invite you to check out the Futur Pro Group and our membership, specifically created for experienced business owners ready to scale.
What's the worst answer you can get on a sales call? Yes, no, or maybe. And the answer is maybe. And the reason it's maybe is because it wastes your time. Okay, you spend a lot of time, you're calling these people, depending on how you market yourself. If you have a no, you move on. If you have a yes, you get the work. Maybe is the worst. When you talk to somebody on the phone in this industry, they're so busy, they have some interest in you. They know you're not their new best friend. Okay? You're not friends. This is business. You can be a friend. Chris and I have become friends over the years. Every meeting that you go to, you have to have a goal. And what I tell people is think about yourselves. When you're the customer, who are you? Do you want to talk on the phone for 20 minutes to a telemarketer? The people you're talking to are the same way. They're having a meeting with you for a particular reason. Your job's to figure out what the reason is. So people's time is enormously important. Don't waste it. The whole thing should be geared, and that's why you need to have a goal. You shouldn't be asking any questions or talking about things that don't have to do with whatever your final ask is going to be. That's why it's so difficult. If we look at the websites of those of you that are in the graphics business, I can tell you what they all say. You're very creative, you're storytellers, you're great to work with, you're honest. If Jesus came back, he'd be your best buddy. You're perfect. Well, the way you show that you're a professional and the method with which you work is how you ask questions and the questions you ask. That's what demonstrates your expertise, not saying you're an expert. Chris has asked me to do this kind of thing for years, and I've always resisted because I have a real problem with people who pose as experts. Okay? I don't think any of us know that much. If anything I say to any of you today, either here or on the internet, helps your business, great. How you talk to people and what you say about yourself, this is what demonstrates that you're a pro.
Can I jump in here?
Absolutely.
Because I want to share with you guys what Kier has helped me to do, and I have some of the same hang-ups I think that you guys have, and I think we have this image of what a salesperson does. It's very aggressive, and it's a big turnoff. It's one of the more despised, like a car salesman, the stereotypical car salesman. And so if we ask, we feel like we're that person, and we don't want to be that person because we're sensitive and very empathetic. What Kier taught me was you can ask and not be crass or rude about it, and there's a way to do it. So that's about ability of language and being transparent.
Yeah, I would like to say something else too that might be helpful. I'm pretty transparent. I've gone to a lot of therapy and a lot of Al-Anon meetings.
Okay, it's coming out now. It's coming out. Here we go.
But one of the things you learn there is what's called stay out of the results. What you owe yourself in a meeting is to walk out of that meeting saying that you presented yourself and your company in the best way. You have no control over the outcome. None. There's a great movie you can probably just find on, it's called My Date with Drew. It's about this guy who's trying to get this date with Drew Barrymore. They have all these machinations like you have here in Hollywood. Who do you know? How can I get the contact? And she never calls back. So of course they're imagining. The whole movie's about what's happening. And then in the end, she actually has the date with the guy and she says, I just got your tape, your thing 3 days ago because I've been traveling all over the world and it's been chasing me. So don't try to imagine why you didn't get the job. You can't control that. What you can control is you ask yourself, did I do the best I could to present my company and what we have to offer? That's it. That's what you owe. Stay out of the results.